Hi there, this is David, and welcome to 5 changes that I would like to see in the upcoming Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion Remaster. I remember whenever the original was first released, and I was very excited to play it. It was originally released as a 10-year anniversary title to Final Fantasy VII, and it expanded upon the first story by following Arius' late boyfriend Zack, as well as his exploits in Soldier. I really enjoyed it. But even back then, 15 years ago, I knew that it had its fair share of problems. And recently, in anticipation for the upcoming remake, I've decided to play it again over on the Twitch. So, now with it fresh on my mind, here are 5 changes that I would love to see in the upcoming remaster. Number 1. Streamline the missions. Honestly, the missions are the worst part of the game, and whenever I say to streamline them, I don't mean to have less content. What I mean is to instead have quality content. In the original game, the missions would actually take longer than the entire rest of the game. It was ridiculous. And the vast majority of the missions are exactly the same. You'd go through one of like 10 nondescript areas, grab some random treasures, fight a boss, and then boom, done, the end. Those kind of missions just suck. So, instead of having like 30 odd missions for Wutai, or Shinra, or materia hunting, instead streamline them into maybe like 5 missions per heading. Make the rewards worth it, create some actual quality, real dungeons for them, add in some character development, and call it a day. I personally would much rather have 5 quality missions than 30 filler missions. Number 2. Create on-screen encounters. One of the main complaints about this game was the combat system. And well, I will get to that soon enough. Getting into the combat itself was really the thing that actually bugged me. Encounters are not visible on screen, but they are activated if you step on a particular tile. And you could always kind of see where the encounter rooms were, so if y'all are anything like me, you're going to be constantly making a beeline for the wall and then hugging it for dear life in order to avoid as many encounters as humanly possible. This made it so that you really couldn't enjoy exploration because you're just so busy making love to those walls. So hopefully they'll just put the encounters on screen and have the enemies like chase after you at a slower rate like they do in most action RPGs. This one simple change would make the combat so much more realistic, as well as the gameplay making it so much better. Number 3. The DMW should not pause the combat. Well, earlier I did allude to the combat. I really do want to dive deep into it now. Personally, I actually wanted the DMW just to be scrapped in its entirety. But from all the videos and the screenshots that I've seen, it's not the case. The DMW is wholly unique. While in combat, Zack will have heightened emotions with certain characters who randomly unlock special bonuses or limit breaks. And while this is nice, it just happens far too often, and it interrupts the flow of the entire battle. And many of those DMW scenes can take upwards of like 20 to 30 seconds. So I'll take the next best thing, and just please ask that it not pause the combat all the time. Maybe they can like put it down in the corner and still show it on the screen, but have it activate simultaneously during combat instead of pausing it all the time. Number 4. Make materia fusion more intuitive. Far be it from me to complain about crafting in an RPG. Well, I kid, anyway. Here, it can really just be infuriating. You really have 2 choices in order to upgrade your materia. You can do endless missions until your eyes just glaze over, or you can mess around with materia fusion. So of course, you're not going to want to do those missions and you're going to want to fuse instead. However, it's not really the easiest thing to figure out. It's not like fire plus fire equals fire 2. It's more like quake plus HP up equals wall. Yeah, I know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Especially whenever you throw item crafting into the mix. it just gets to be a bit much, because now you're combining two materias along with an item, so really, who knows what you're going to end up with. I would say to either retool the entire fusion system from the ground up, or at least put the results of the fusion somewhere on the screen in the mixing area, just to make it a little bit more user-friendly. And number 5, general quality of life upgrades. Now, yeah, this is kind of a catch-all, but really, there's a lot of little touches that would really elevate the game to the next level and make it a more pleasant experience. Small changes, like the implementation of fast travel around the Shinra building during the intermissions between the chapters. That would make all the difference in the world. As well as placing little markers over the NPCs' heads indicating whether they unlocked a mission for you, or if they have a quest to give you, or if they otherwise have something important to say. Speaking of which, while you're exploring, it can be pretty easy to get lost, so having a minimap in the corner would be a great improvement over having to press the square button to access the larger map. But that to me seems like a no-brainer. However, with game developers these days, sometimes things that I think are obvious aren't very obvious to them. So, that's it for 5 changes that I would like to see at the upcoming Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion Remaster. How did you feel about the original game, and what changes do you want to see? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and what I do here on the channel, please consider heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, checking out Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.